Welcome to Cheryl K's Cooking Diaries, old-fashioned Southern cooking. Hey guys, welcome back to Cheryl K's Cooking Diaries. This evening, we are going to make some chicken Alfredo. It's going to be delicious, and really guys, this is not that hard to do. So give me just a minute and I'm going to show you everything that goes into this. Okay guys, here we go. We're going to need a quarter cup of butter, and I don't have that out right now, but we'll get it out when we get ready, to put it in, okay? And then you're going to need a quarter cup of self-rising flour. I use White Lily, but you can use any kind you want to. If you want to use all-purpose, you can do that as well, okay? Then you're going to need about a half a teaspoon of just the garlic powder, and then you're going to need, you can use 2 cups of the half and half, or you can use 1 cup of half and half, or you can also divide it and use a cup of half and half and a cup of regular milk if you want to do that, okay? You can also do whipping cream if that's what you want to do, but I don't use whipping cream a lot because it's got a whole lot of fat in it. So I would just rather stick with something like half and half. So I'm just going to divide it up, okay? And then you are going to need a tablespoon of minced garlic. You're just going to need some of the dried parsley. You're going to need about a tablespoon of the dried parsley. And you're going to need a third of a cup or so of Parmesan cheese. Now, you can also use the grated Parmesan cheese if you want to do that. And actually, I don't know for sure if I've got a third of a cup of this or not. So when we go to measure this out, if I don't have quite a third of a cup, I'll just get my grated Parmesan cheese that we use on, like, spaghetti and stuff. I'll just use it, kind of mix it together. I took 2 chicken breasts earlier and I pounded them out, to thin them down because they were, pretty thick. So I've got those, and I have those cut up in a bowl. And what we're going to do is, with the chicken breasts, I cut them up into chunk-sized pieces. You can cut yours up however you want to. And what we're going to do with that is we're going to season it with some seasonings first before we do anything else with it. You're going to need some black pepper as well, okay, to put in your Alfredo sauce. Now, guys, I don't have any the Alfredo noodles or the Fettuccine noodles or whatever they're called. I don't use them very much at all. So anyway, what I've got on hand is I've got some plant-based, just regular spaghetti. You can use any kind of pasta that you want to use in this. You can use, just go with what you and your family like, because everybody's different on the pasta. So anyway, we're going to get our chicken breast out, and we're going to start seasoning that. But I'm going to put some of this stuff back away because we're not going to need this just yet, okay? So give me just a minute and let me get my chicken breast out, and I'll be right back. Okay, guys, here we go. Alrighty. Let's go ahead and get this seasoned. But my chicken is cut up into chunk-sized pieces, like I told you, okay? This is only 2 chicken breasts, but you can use however many you want. But you will have to probably, if you use any more than this, you'll probably have to double your sauce. You'll have to probably double that recipe, guys, okay? All right, the first thing we're going to put in our chicken breast is a little bit of onion powder, okay? See, the sauce has already got some, we're going to be putting some seasoning in the sauce as well. So we don't want to kill it, but we want to give it a little flavor, right? All right, that's plenty of onion powder. Then we're going to use a little bit of garlic powder. Because remember, this garlic powder's got both. The sauce has got garlic powder and minced garlic, so you just want to be a little careful. By the way, guys, you're going to need some oil to fry your chicken, okay? Because you got to fry your chicken. We're going to use, lastly, we're just going to use some black pepper, okay? We're going to put some pepper in there. I can't go without seasoning my chicken breast, y'all. I just can't do it. I just, there's something, I just have to season my chicken breast or I won't eat it. I mean, that's just the way I am, I guess. So, we're going to season it. Just stir all those seasonings together the best you can, y'all. Just get them all mixed in your chicken. And they should stick fine without having to put anything on your chicken, any oil or anything like that. But see, when I get my chicken out of my freezer bags, because I freeze a lot of meat, what I do is I just rinse them off a little bit, and then I pounded them down, so, you know, they were a little wet anyway, so it does help, but they're not super wet. You don't want them real wet. All right, y'all, I think that's probably good enough. Okie doke. All right, guys, so what we'll do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to go ahead and put the lid back on it. And then we're going to get ready to put our, we're going to go ahead and get our noodles started, because you want to start your noodles before you start getting into making your sauce. I mean, really, you could do it either way, but it's better to go ahead and get your noodles done, because when you make this sauce, when you use it, you need to go ahead and serve it immediately if you can. If you cannot, you need to just go ahead and refrigerate it, okay? So give me just a minute, y'all, and let me get my pasta, and I'm going to bring you over to my stove, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to get this pasta in so we can get it started, okay? So give me just a minute. Okay, guys, here we go. All right, I got my pot over here, and it's starting to come to that boil. I'm going to go ahead and put some pasta in. Now, I'm not using, y'all, I'm not going to use a lot of pasta, okay? I never do. It's just something I don't like a lot of. I mean, I like the chicken and everything else. So I'm going to back my heat down to medium, and I'm going to take this pasta. And when it's pretty warm, so what you want to do, hold it in your hand, put it in there, like this, okay? And once it gets so warm, it'll just fold, okay? And just keep pushing it down in there, and it'll go on. But watch your fingers. Do not get burnt doing this, okay? Because we want long pasta, because that's what, like, fettuccine is. But you can do it any way you want to, you know? You don't have to do it this way. So I'm going to add just a little bit more, till I get the right amount that maybe I think we would want. So if you put it down that, see how it bends? You got to kind of guide it, kind of push it down in there a little bit, but don't push it real hard because you'll break it. And just let it fall, okay? So just push the rest of it down in there. I'm going to turn the heat back up, though, for a minute, because it's got to come to a rolling boil. I'm going to add just a tiny bit more, and that's it. That's all I'll be adding. I'm going to push this over. Just let it get warm. There we go. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to let this spaghetti cook. And you want to get your pasta done. Don't overcook it. So follow your directions on your boxes, because that's the best way to get your spaghetti just right. However, they say that al dente, I think's how they say it, how they quote it is, cook your spaghetti until it's right about al dente. Yeah, sounded so prim and proper. It's crazy, I think. Well, I just don't talk that way. So we are going to boil this for 7 minutes. I'm going to set my timer. Okay, guys, we got our timer set. It's a boiling and like it needs to be, but I am going to back it down a little bit. Let it do its thing. So when this is done and it's tender enough, and I think it's about right, then I'm going to have to take it out, and I'm going to put it in a bowl or something, okay? That's just how I do mine. You can do yours however you want to, but anytime you make chicken Alfredo, some recipes say to just go ahead and get your spaghetti cooked and then do your chicken, but I thought about doing my chicken first, but it'll be all right. No big deal. Okay, the timer's going, so when the timer goes off, I'll be back and I'll have this strained. So anyway, y'all, I will be back here shortly. Okay, guys, here we go. All right, I got my Crisco melted in my skillet, and it's getting good and hot. We'll go ahead and add our chicken that we seasoned a minute ago. We're going to go ahead and add it to our skillets. Let's do that now. I'm going to try to do this a little slow so don't splash no grease out anywhere. Or on me. That's what I worry about more than anything. Okay. So let me kind of get all of it apart. And you're gonna want to cook your chicken, y'all, until you get it just done. You don't necessarily have to really get it like crispy. Some people do, but I just like to get my chicken done. If it gets a little crispy, it's not gonna hurt anything and make it taste good. So just kind of put it in there and toss it around in the oil. Okay. There we go. Get all that apart if I can. Get off and cook. And when you pound your chicken down when it's real thick, it does cook quicker. And especially if you do it in chunks, it will cook quicker, y'all. So we're just going to let this chicken fry until it gets done. And then I've got a bowl over here with paper towel in it. That way it can kind of absorb some of the grease. And we're going to put it in this bowl. And then we'll start making our sauce. And that's it. Sorry, y'all, but I wipe down my stove sometimes. I guess it's a habit. And I'll tell you what, I see my mama do that all through my life when she would cook. She would just sit here and do this and wipe her stove down. And she always told me, she said it makes it a lot easier to get the grease off when your stove's warm like that or hot. She said it always makes it easier to get it off. You know what? She's right. It sure does. So it's myself doing it too. Guess we all learn things from our mamas, don't we? Alright guys, what I'm going to do is I'm going to transfer this over into this other bowl. And as soon as I do that, I'll be back, okay? So give me just a minute. Okay guys, here we go. We're going to make the Alfredo sauce. We're going to turn our heat on medium. Okay? Don't turn this on any higher. That's all you need right now. Okay? And then I've got the ingredients over here, so we can do this as we go. Alright, so when this butter that I've got here, I'm going to kind of cut it up in chunks a little bit because it does help it melt a little quicker. So we're going to have to melt our butter. That's going to be our first step, okay? So if you can, cut your butter up kind of into chunks like that. And we're going to let that melt, okay? Once the butter is melted, we're going to whisk our flour and our garlic powder into the butter, okay? And this in an iron skillet. You can make it in whatever kind of skillet or pan, whatever that you want to make it in a pot, whatever. But I will tell you this, if you make this in an iron skillet, you need to have a good seasoned iron skillet, okay? But when this gets completely melted, I will be back and then we'll go on to our next step, okay? Y'all, the butter is melted pretty good. It has melted, I should say. Okay, so what we're going to do, like I said, we are going to whisk in a 1/4 cup of our flour, and then we are going to add our garlic powder, which is a 1/2 teaspoon. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit in at a time. Okay, so we're going to whisk this in. Pretty thick here. Okay, all the flour. If it looks like it's getting too thick, I might need to add a little bit more butter. See, this is kind of almost like making gravy. Don't fret, this is the way it's supposed to be. Just knock it out of your whisk, okay? Now we're going to add our garlic powder. There's our 1/2 teaspoon of garlic. What we're going to do, we're going to whisk that in together. But it's like gravy at first, y'all. If y'all have ever made gravy, that's kind of like what this is. So, whisking it like this. Kind of knock it out of your whisk. And now I switch over sometimes to a spatula. just to kind of get it where I want it, and everything looks all right with it. Okay, now slowly beat the half and half into the sauce. Okay, we're gonna put that in there and slowly beat it. All right, so it's 2 cups. So we'll start out with 1 cup, and we're gonna do. So we're just gonna add it like this. Okay, turn my heat back up to about 4. Add a little more. Knock it out of your whisk, okay? Add a little more, but we got to get that in there. Okay, so we're just going to go ahead and add the rest of it. And then we'll add a cup of milk. Change over to our spatula. Let's do this. Let's just mix it in. So you want to get this smooth as you can. Just kind of push it down, mash it down a little bit, get it as smooth as you can, y'all. That's what I say. Some people get worried when they start making this because it looks funny, but we're going to have to add another cup of milk, okay? So add all that half and half. We're just going to switch it up. So here, let's go ahead and just pour this on in there, okay? That was a cup. Burner back on medium, okay? The whisk one more time, but if it still sticks to it, I'll just go back to the spatula. Not a big deal. So just mix this in slowly so you don't get it all over. Okay, just keep mixing this, and eventually this will become creamy. So anyway, we're going to keep mixing this. Okay, we need to get these lumps and stuff out of here, so just keep mixing it with your whisk. That's how I do it usually, and I can get it beat down pretty good because it's just something you have to do with this. It's like making gravy, guys. It's really not too much different other than you have to add garlic and, you know, stuff like that. But so just keep stirring this, okay? Next, we're going to need to add our minced garlic. I'm going to switch over to my spatula because now we're going to need to add our parsley, our Parmesan cheese into our sauce, and we got to keep whisking it, okay? Down. Remember I told you, tablespoon. Okay, the minced garlic, we're going to add 1 tablespoon of dried parsley. I'm not going to do the 1 tablespoon. I'm just going to add what I think we might like because we don't like a lot of parsley. So I'm just going to add what I like, and you all do the same. Just add what you think you'll like, okay? Stir this again after I added the garlic and the parsley. And if y'all want yours thinner, you can always add a little more milk. And I may even do that myself. So just keep mixing this, okay? Lastly, we are going to add our Parmesan cheese. And when we add that, we probably will have to add a little more milk because we probably will want it, I'm going to want it thinner than what it is. But don't let this stuff intimidate you when you make it because it looks like it's not going to turn out at first, you know, when it kind of looks the way it did. And that's, all right, let's add our.
Guys, I said mozzarella, so I'm going to correct this. You're going to add 1/3 cup of Parmesan cheese to this.
That in there. But I'm telling you, I can already tell you, I'm going to need to add some milk because the sauce is going to be too thick. Let's go between a whisk and a spatula and just kind of go around like this. I mean, I push mine down, making sure, you know, you get any big lumps out. There shouldn't be really any big lumps because we worked them out a minute ago. But what I'm going to do, I got to add a little more milk. Okay? So that back our heat down to sim. You want to do that now, okay? You don't want it to cook any harder right now than what it already is. So just keep it on sim. And see, mine's already thick, okay? So everybody turns out a little different, guys. It really does. Something you can't really explain, I guess, because everybody makes it a little different. Now, I'm just going to add a little milk to this, y'all, but you have to be the one to judge how much extra milk that you want to add to your sauce, because that's too thick for us. When I make gravy, I don't even make it, I make my gravy thinner because that's the way we like it. And it's easier to pour, but when you have this thick sauce, it's harder to pour. So, but like little pieces in there, remember, the parsley's in there and the Parmesan cheese. So this is pretty smooth other than, the cheese being in there. Well, it looks delicious. It smells wonderful. So I still think that we need to add a little more milk, because I'm telling you, I don't like my sauce this thick. It needs to be a little thinner than what it is. Lord, I've got to go over to my whisk because I'm going to add a little more milk. That's what I say. Y'all have to just add what you like, okay? Some people may think that's too much milk, but trust me, it ain't, because that's just the way we like it. You may even want to use a little pot, a pot to do this in with higher sides so you don't splash it out. I know I didn't stick, and my pan is seasoned very well, so that was very helpful when you can have a pan that's seasoned like this. Alright, so now I'm just going to do away with the spatula now. Or I mean the whisk. I'm going to pull all this back off the sides. Kind of stir it a little bit. See what's going on in there. Toward the end is I bump my heat back up a little bit because I want to get this good and hot. That way when we pour it over our, we'll put our spaghetti in the plate and our chicken. And we pour it in, pour it over it. I want it to be able to heat that stuff up as well. So I always turn mine back up toward the end. So I'm going to be honest with y'all. This really ain't too much different than making a pan of gravy. I mean, you just start out with flour and butter instead of flour and oil or bacon grease or something. So that's the only difference I see in this, is just that. And that's smooth other than the Parmesan that's inside, and my husband's dying to taste it. But I got to add a little bit of black pepper to this before I can let him taste it. So, very, very quickly. So, it really should thicken for you good. And I put that extra. But I apologize, guys, if I've confused you on anything. I just have to add more milk and get it to the consistency that we like. And right here is what we like. But I am going to turn my temperature back up to about not quite 4. Okay? So it can start boiling a little bit. Just a real small boil, nothing big. I ain't trying to thicken this back up and add more milk, because I'm going to tell you, if you do that, you'll be here all night adding milk. So you got to stop at some point, because you will. It'll just keep. I'm going to add about 1/4 of a teaspoon of black pepper. Okay? Now, I don't use salt, so if y'all want to put some salt in there, feel free to do that. But that's something we just try to stay away from. Alrighty, so I'm going to go ahead and stir this pepper in. It's really easy to make Alfredo sauce. Like I said, pieces you see, that's Parmesan. That's that Parmesan cheese I added. So, and it's going to make it delicious. When we make us a plate, what I'm going to do, I can't show you tonight, but what I'll do is I'll take a picture of it and I'll post it in my video. And I'll post the recipe, so you can have my recipe of my Alfredo sauce. So, but I really hope y'all have enjoyed this. Questions, feel free to message me on Cheryl K's Cooking Diaries. If you don't mind to go to Cheryl K's Cooking Diaries, like, share, and follow. I would appreciate it. If you don't mind to go over to my YouTube channel and like and subscribe, I would greatly appreciate it. So anyway, my husband's got to have about it, I told y'all. So anyway, I'm going to go for now. And listen, y'all stay safe. And always remember to keep God in your heart and God in your life. Bye.